Yes, okay, we got it. All right, we're going to be a little bit of a hot mess this week as we figure this out, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a new project, and that project is called Make Money Your Honey Live. I'm going to be coming live 4 days a week at noon during your lunch hour for some lunch and learns. I see everybody hopping in on Instagram already. We are also live on my Facebook profile, my Facebook fan page, my Facebook group full of clients, 40,000 people over on Twitter, and we are live on YouTube. And wait until I get my shit together, because then we'll be going live on LinkedIn as well. Hi, everybody jumping in on Instagram. So we are broadcasting live to tens of thousands of people simultaneously right now. And I am so psyched because this has been a dream I've had for about 18 months, ever since I hired Xenia. Many of you know Xenia already. She is my right-hand woman. She's helped me build out a lot of systems. She's like my mini-me in a lot of ways. Xenia, if you're here, say hi. She might be sending out an email right now, so she may not be here, right? So excited to have you guys here. This has been a dream. I've spent 18 months building out systems and trying to figure out teams so that I could be live with you guys, so I could engage with you guys more. Back when Periscope was a thing, I was the Periscope queen. I love engaging with you guys live. It's my favorite thing to do. And look, like, YouTube videos are awesome. Podcasts are great. You know, I love all that stuff too, but there is nothing like engaging with you guys live. And this has been a dream of mine for at least 18 months, to be able to free up time and space so that I can do this for you all and interact with you in real time. So welcome to the first episode of Make Money Your Honey Live. As you can see, I've rearranged the whole backdrop office space. We've got all the systems squared away so that we can live stream simultaneously to multiple different places at the same time. And I'm going to be breaking stuff down for you on these live videos. So here's how this is going to go down moving forward. Here's the thing. I got little birdies, right? And these little birdies tell me what is going on out here on these social media and online business streets, right? And someone decided she needed to start getting on live video to help people get it together, okay? Let's get it all together, guys. So on Mondays, we're going to be covering mindset. This includes money mindset and success mindset. Today, we're going to be talking about how to be more confident in business. Tuesdays, we're going to be covering how to grow your influence online, all things online marketing, PR, social media, basically how the hell I've built what I've built. We'll be covering that on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we're going to be covering sales. A lot of you are like, Amanda, how do I make more money? How do I make more money? How do I make more money? It's sales, baby, right? So we're going to be talking about sales. We're going to be talking about the mindset of sales. We're going to be talking sales strategies. Over time, I'm going to be bringing in experts to talk about this thing. I had my mentor come on a live video last week. You guys loved that. So I plan on doing more of that stuff. And then on Thursdays, I'm super stoked about this because I've been getting lots of questions about this in the last 18 months or so, which means you guys are ready to hear about it. We're going to start talking about scaling, okay? We're going to talk systems, we're going to talk processes, and we're going to talk hiring on Thursday. So for those of you who are ready to hear that, we are going to start discussing some of those topics. So if you're here and you have not shared this out yet, please share this out with your peeps, right? Please share it out. We believe over here that whoever needs to come onto our stuff, right, they gravitate toward us. They find our way to this message, right? And today's message is really important. It's no secret. There's 30 million people without a job right now. Well, guess what? That was me 10 years ago, and that's when I started my business, right? So now is a great time for you to figure out some sort of other way to make money that is not tied to a paycheck. Let's be real, okay? But guess what? It's always a good time to figure out how to make money not paid to a paycheck, right? So we're going to be talking about that confidence piece today because, as I mentioned, I got a lot of little birdies out there telling me what's going on in these streets, and a lot of you are feeling a total lack of confidence right now. And it's understandable. The world looks like it's crazy. It looks like it's going psycho. It looks insane. But right? Those who are confident can find solutions to problems. And those who find solutions to problems are the ones who make money. Those are the ones who find success, and those are the ones who have impact. So please make sure to share out this broadcast with your friends, no matter what platform you're on, whether it's Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, what have you. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Amanda Abea. I am the author of a little book called Make Money Your Honey, which was an Amazon bestseller. I also have a podcast by the same name, an award-winning blog. I spent 8 years as a content marketer for financial companies. That was my first business. And now I do marketing and sales training through my signature program, Persuade to Profit, where we have helped people just like you start figuring out their scalable offerings and close 13 new clients in 4 weeks. That's right. We did that, right? We have another client who's recently closed like 8 clients in like 8 weeks. So we help people just like you get it together. And one of the things, I've noticed 2 things. Number one, I've noticed a lot of you are wasting a hell of a lot of time and you're wasting a hell of a lot of money. And I'm going to get into that today. But the biggest problem that I'm seeing thus far is a complete and utter lack of confidence in yourself and in your ideas, right? So today I'm going to start breaking down Instagram. I'm moving you over here. Oh, I think this might work better. Hi, Instagram, so I can see you guys better, right? We're going to be talking about that today. I'm going to break down why this happens in the first place. Why do we lack confidence? Why does this even happen, right? How do we even get to this space? And then I'm going to also break down how to bust out of this, because I'm tired of having conversations with people who are sitting on brilliant ideas that could change the world and are doing absolutely nothing with it, right? And if that's you, right, then you're in the right place. Those of you who are new, put hashtag new in the comments so I could properly say hi. Those of you who are on the replay, put hashtag replay so I could properly say hi. Those of you who are in Persuade to Profit, hashtag profiteer. And those of you who are in the Make Money Your Honey Academy, hashtag honey crew. All right, guys, so let's dive in. Let me take a sip of water. And while I do this, share the broadcast out so we can reach as many people as possible. All right, guys, let me take a sip real quick, and then I'm going to dive right in. Okay, guys, so here we go. Why do people have a lack of confidence in the first place? Why does this even happen? How do we get to a stage in our lives, right, where we have all these ideas, we know we've got something, we know we're sitting on something, we've been wanting to start a business, we've been wanting to make our own money, we've been wanting to do all these things, but we just don't pull the damn trigger, right? So basically what that comes down to is a complete and utter lack of confidence. It also comes down to the fact that you probably don't believe that this is possible for you, right? So you might hear things like, oh, one of Amanda's clients got, 13 clients in 4 weeks, or another one of Amanda's clients is filling up her group program, or Amanda's clients make 6 figures in 12 months, right? And you hear those things and you're like, okay, yeah, that's really great and all, but like, who said that that's going to be possible for me, right? Like, is that possible for me? The answer is yes, right? Because if it's worked for other people, it can work for you too. Now, the difference between you and them, right, is what I'm going to break down some of that today. So why do people have a lack of confidence in the first place? Number one, conditioning, right? Okay, so there's cultural conditioning and there's also like individual conditioning. In culture, in society as a whole, let's be real, we don't necessarily have systems in place that are like, go for it. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe as a kid you're told, go for it, you can be anything you want. But then when you start getting into the real world and get hammered around a little bit, like people are getting hammered now, right? You get slapped around a little bit by life, right? Then that confidence starts to go down and down and down and down and down. So part of it is conditioning. For some of you, it may have also been conditioning in the home, right? And it doesn't have to have been anything severe either. It could have been as simple as, okay, so my parents are telling me I can be anything that I want to be, but they're not doing that for themselves. They're telling me I could be anything I want to be, but they're also telling me to go get a secure job, right? So that could be a part of what causes problems as well. That's a part of what can cause a lack of confidence, right? Another reason people have a lack of confidence is past failures, okay? This is a big one, right? A lot of people get gun shy because they're like, oh, I screwed up before, right? Oh, I tried that, it didn't work, right? Oh, one of our recent clients actually said this. One of the reasons she was afraid to join Persuade to Profit was because she's like, hey, I've tried this online stuff before and it didn't work. She pulled the trigger anyway, and within a week started making double, right? And now has her flagship offering that she's starting to fill up, right? And she's also working on her offering that she's going to start offering to corporations, right? But she had that thing where she's like, oh, I've tried this before and it didn't work and I'm really scared, but pulled the trigger anyway, right? And then look at the results that she's gotten. But past failures is definitely a reason why people get gun shy and why they lose a little bit of confidence. So I've done whole podcast episodes on failure and how to view failure in a different way so that it doesn't hit you so hard. But basically, there's no such thing, because here's the reality of the situation. Number one, let's say you try something and you fail, right? Listen, I've tried lots of things in the last 10 years that have failed. Okay. The first time I launched an ebook, total effing failure, right? A few years later, when I tried again, Amazon bestseller, right? The first time I launched a membership website, total failure. Too much work, not enough money. That will be an episode for another time. I got you all on that one, right? Total failure, right? That membership site came back from the dead 2 months ago and started making us sales in 24 hours. So there really is no such thing as failure. A lot of it is just data points. A lot of it is really just getting information, right? One could maybe see that my YouTube channel is a failure, right? Like, oh, she doesn't have that many subscribers. Oh, blah, 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 blah. One could see that, right? However, I had to go through all of that, and I had to go through all these little like touch points and all these little things that didn't work out so I could figure out what did, right? So if you look at data, right, in terms of, hey, if you look at failure in terms of data, right, then you can get the information that you need without getting super emotional, without being reactive, without getting super involved. We just had Michael over on Twitter tell us business is logical. Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, there's an art and a science to business, but that, again, is conversations for another time, right? But he still makes a really great point, right? That, some of you are letting your emotions get in the way. You're letting past failures get in the way. You're reacting instead of responding. There's been a lot of that going on in the last 8 weeks, especially, right? And then what that does is that it keeps you from making decisions that can help you move forward. So you could be sitting on an excellent idea, but because you've got so many of these preconceived notions because of past failures and conditioning, then you're afraid to even try, right? So knowing that there is no such thing as failure, it's just a bunch of data points at the end of the day anyway, helps you kind of remove yourself and not be so afraid of failing, right? Because you're like, okay, maybe this isn't going to work, but then we just like take the data, try something else, and try again, right? And then that helps you gain more confidence. By the way, right, I would venture to say that fail often, because you start teaching yourself, okay, whatever, I just got back up anyway, so let's try this new thing and see if that works, right? Another reason people are afraid, right, or they don't have confidence in business, and this is a big one, we're going to do several different episodes on this one in particular, is because they have all these misconceptions and preconceived notions about money, right? So for example, and I still hear this pretty often, and it kind of surprises me because I thought the jig was up on this one, but I guess not, right? Which is, only people with degrees can have businesses. I have to go get an MBA to get a business. Listen, my last job before this, I worked for a recruiting agency. My boss and I knew more about how to run a business than the MBAs that walked into our office looking for jobs. Okay, that is a fact, right? And anybody who hires people, and that'll be the Thursday show on how to scale, will tell you the same damn thing. Okay, guaranteed. Any recruiter will tell you that. Okay, but that's one of the reasons. Oh, maybe I need to have a degree. Oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, I'm not valuable enough. Again, it's all these preconceived notions and all these misconceptions. Another misconception about money. Hi, everybody on Instagram, right? Another misconception about money is, oh, in order for me to make money, then I gotta like be an asshole or evil or step on someone's toes. That stops people from being gun shy. I mean, that stops people from having confidence and making decisions. Another one is lack of skill set. But here's the thing, right? The reason you have to have a lack of skill set is because you probably haven't invested time, energy, or money into learning this skill set that would make you more confident, because you're letting the lack of confidence get in the way, right? So in order to become more confident with certain things, you have to learn how to actually do them, right? So it's almost like you have to move and make decisions despite the fact that you're scared, right? And then that's how you get the skill set, and that's how you become more confident, right? So lack of skill set, right? And then that lack of decision making basically comes because you're afraid of failure, or you're afraid of what you're going to have to give up, or you're afraid of who you might have to become. You have all these ideas made up in your head and you don't even know it. So we'll be covering and unraveling more of that stuff on Mondays, right? And then the final one, people get mad when I say this one, but it is true, right? Part of the reason you have a lack of confidence is because you have a lack of integrity with yourself. I'm going to say that again. Part of the reason why you have a lack of confidence is because you have a lack of integrity with yourself. Okay? What do I mean by that? A lot of you have been saying that you want to do things, saying that you're going to do things, saying that, oh, next year, 6 months from now, in the summer, next week, you know, when the kids are out of the house, when I'm not so busy, you make up all this stuff in your head. That's number one, in terms of like why you can't do something now. And the other thing is you have a lack of integrity with yourself. And I don't even mean about like big things. I mean about real basic shit. Like, you see that Peloton behind me? Yes. Okay. I'm obsessed with that thing. I'm going to be doing a whole episode on what I've learned on the Peloton about running a business. But even something that simple, some of you are in a position right now where you're like, you know what? I'm going to work out from home 3 times a week, right? Real simple, real basic. I'm just going to get on the bike and I'm going to do that. Here's what ends up happening. You don't do it for whatever reason. You let whatever excuse get in the way, right? And then what ends up happening in your own mind is you start training yourself that you cannot be trusted, right? So the less you show up for yourself, the less confidence you actually have. Some of you have spent decades, right, saying that you're going to do things and then not doing them. And when that happens, you lack confidence, right? It just goes down like this. I believe it's I'm forgetting its name right now, but the 4 agreements: be impeccable with your word, have integrity with yourself. Hi, Instagram. Have integrity with yourself. Do what it is you say that you're going to do, right? A lot of you don't do that, and then that's part of the reason why you have that lack of confidence, right? It's because you've been telling yourself you can't be trusted. Oh, I say I'm going to do this, but I don't do it. I say I'm going to work out, but I don't work out. I say I'm going to start that business, but you don't do shit, right? I say I'm going to learn this new skill. I say I'm going to take this class. I say I'm going to try this new thing, and you don't do it, right? And when you don't do it consistently, you've taught yourself that you cannot trust yourself because you do not have integrity with yourself. So if you want to build confidence, step number 1 is do what the fuck you say you're going to do. Period. Point blank. End of story. If you say you're going to get on that bike and work out, come hell or high water, you get on that bike and you work out. Okay, if you say I'm going to make X dollars this month, come hell or high water, you're making X dollars that month. If you say I'm starting a business during this time of weird social distancing and all the weird stuff we've got going on, then do it, right? And that's the thing, most of you don't. And then you wonder why you can't get ahead. You wonder why you're not confident. You wonder why you're not excited about things. You wonder why you're still broke. That's why you're still broke at the core, because you don't do what you say you're going to do. And you've told yourself for decades that you cannot trust yourself to make decisions, that you cannot trust yourself to move forward. So step number one to gaining confidence is do what you say you're going to do, right? So even this week, decide on something. How am I going to move my business forward? How am I going to move my financial life forward? And do it, right? Maybe it's starting a Facebook group. Maybe it's getting on a live video like me today. Maybe it's creating a video in the first place. Maybe it's starting a podcast. Maybe it's getting on someone else's podcast. Maybe it's starting a Twitter page. It does not matter what it is. Do something. Move in that direction. And when you do that consistently over and over and over again, despite failures and challenges that are going to come along the way, but remember, there's no such thing as failure, so who cares, right? When you do that on a consistent basis, right, that's when you start gaining some more confidence. That's when you start telling yourself, oh, okay, I show up for me. Cool. I said I was going to do something and I did it. Oh, okay, let's do that again, right? And you start seeing what you're made of. So that's step number one. Step number two, which is related, right? Realize there's no such thing as failure. It's just data points at the end of the day. I mean, this whole like make money your honey live TV thing, right? Although I think it's going to be awesome because I'll get to that, right? It could totally bomb. It could totally fail. Anything I put out there could totally bomb and fail, right? Or there could be, I could hire people and it doesn't work out, and that's happened before, right? Or I could build out systems for no reason. But the thing is that it takes just as much energy and effort and time and money to at least try, right? As it does to not try at all. And I'm going to say that again because a lot of you don't realize that. A lot of you are afraid of failure because you're afraid of wasting time, money, energy, and effort. And what you don't realize, right, is that it takes a hell of a lot of time, money, energy, and effort to be miserable and not trust yourself. It takes a lot of money, time, energy, and effort, right? And by a lot of money, I mean a lot of lost money, right? A lot of money you're never going to see because you're not confident to actually go out there and get it. It takes just as much time, money, energy, and effort to not do anything. And then in fact, I would say that the cost is actually much greater because the cost for that, right, is your own relationship with yourself. The cost for that is sacrificing your dreams. The cost for that is not helping as many people as you know you could have helped. So if you ask me, right, if I have to choose between trying this new project, this new thing over here, and it potentially failing, right, and maybe losing money, maybe losing time, maybe it takes a lot of effort. If I have to choose between that, right, and not trying at all comes with a much bigger price tag that lasts decades, right? So I might as well try and fall on my face is what I'm trying to say, because at least at that point, right, I get some data points and I can adjust and I can keep moving, right? And at least I can say I tried. At least I can say, okay, well, hey, that worked, or hey, that didn't work, right? Next step for gaining confidence, put yourself in uncomfortable situations and do it often. I've been saying this a lot, right? Comfort is deceiving. Comfort is the enemy of joy, right? How does that saying go? Is it competition is the thief of joy or something like that? I made up a new one. Comfort is the enemy of joy. Comfort is also the enemy of money, by the way. Comfort is the enemy of success. Comfort is the enemy of impact, right? Very important that you understand that because a lot of y'all are comfortable, right? And what you don't realize is that there is no such thing as comfort. And if anything that we've gone through as a world in the last 2 months, if you've learned anything at all, right, is that comfort is bullshit, okay? Security is bullshit. Absolute bullshit, right? Because that's what we've learned in the last 2 months. Your job is not secure, your paycheck's not secure, your credit's not secure, your health right now, people are wondering whether or not that's secure. Some of you are in situations, this is not for me to deal with, but my clients tell me, our relationship coaches, and they tell me this, you realize your relationship's not secure, right? A lot of you, right, have really gotten a rude awakening in the last 2 months or so, that all the things that you placed your security in, all the things that you thought were secure, it was just a mirage. It could be taken away from you like this, right? And I know that that seems really scary, but it's also probably the most liberating thing ever. And the reason it's the most liberating thing, someone just told me Jesus is what you need. Jesus and I are on speed dial. Thank you very much. Jesus is my homeboy. We're on speed dial, right? We talk every day. Jesus has been my homeboy since I was a child. But to my point, right? And Jesus would agree with me, by the way, that comfort is deceiving. It's your comfort that keeps you small. And Jesus would also agree, by the way, sir, right, that your security doesn't actually lie in money, your accolades, your title, any of that stuff. Your security actually lies in your skill set, in yourself, and in a connection to a higher power. That's right, I said it. Because if you can't get your own confidence, you can definitely borrow it, right? And you can borrow it from something that is bigger than you. There have been multiple times when I have had to do that. There are multiple times that I had to leap first and figure out the money later. When I hired Xenia, I had no idea how the hell I was going to pay for her salary and my salary simultaneously at the same time. I leapt first, the net appeared, we figured it out, and look what we've been able to do as a result. This would not be possible right now, what I'm doing right now, if I had not taken that leap. Right, so that would be an example of like, yes, Jesus and I are on speed dial. We close. Okay, and the idea of comfort, like I said, is just completely and utterly deceiving, and that's what we have seen in the last 2 months or so. So what does that mean? If you thought your security lied in the money in the bank, if you thought your security was in your titles or your degree, if you thought all those things made you secure, it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit, right? And I often say this, and I think I said this to my, I don't know if I said it on a podcast interview last week or my platinum clients. I've been doing a lot of trainings lately. But I remember saying sometime last week where I said, your security doesn't actually lie in money. People have this backwards, right? They think their security lies in how much money they have in the bank. They think their security lies in how much income they earn. So they chase it. They either chase it or they hoard it. It's both the same thing, by the way, right? If you're chasing money out of greed, because that's where you get your validation, that is no worse, right? In fact, it's no worse than those of you who are sitting on a ton of cash and hoarding it right now because you're afraid of the same thing these people are afraid of. It's just two sides of the same coin. So a lot of you who've done Dave Ramsey stuff, that's right, I'm calling you out right now, right? That you're like, oh no, cash only, I gotta sit and I gotta hoard. Yeah, that's not gonna work out for you if you really wanna make a giant impact. And in fact, right, you're still putting all your security in money, right? It's the same thing, right? The key is somewhere in the middle. The key is somewhere in the middle, and this is the part people have a difficult time with, and maybe we'll do another episode on this. Money is simultaneously one of the most important things you have to deal with in your life, and also one of the least important things you deal with in your life. It's also meant to be used, right? And we'll do another episode on that as well. But ultimately, what you have to realize, right, is that you have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. And when you put yourself in uncomfortable positions, you realize that your security lies in you. Your security lies in maybe borrowing confidence from something bigger than you, for those of you who believe that, right? Your security is not in how much cash you have in the bank or your credit score or your job title or your degree. It's just not. And we've learned that in the last 8 weeks. And the thing is that once you understand that and you start putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, two things happen. Right? Number one, you realize that you can handle a lot more than you think you can handle, right? And number two, you become more confident in solving problems as you go. And number three, you become more confident in acquiring money, right? You become more confident in the fact that the money is going to show up, right? You become more confident in the fact that the opportunity shows up. A lot of you don't have that kind of trust. You don't have that kind of faith because you've never even tried, because you're afraid of failure, and you're afraid of failure because you think your security lies in some numbers in a screen, right? Or other people validating you. And I know for some of you that's going to be very difficult to hear right now, but I just want you to receive that and sit with it. All right, because that is what's going on internally. That is what's going on deeply. And part of what you have to start realizing is that you have way more power than you think you do. Okay, so that was number 2. Number 3 on how to gain confidence, act quickly. This live stream, total perfect example of that. I woke up this morning, I had a dream that I needed to figure out how to live stream on YouTube. Right? Literally this morning at like 5:36, something like that, leapt out of bed, figured out how to do it, got together with my team meetings this morning. I was like, oh, we'll start next week. Took us 10 minutes to figure it out. And then I said, well, fuck it. Let's just start today. Let's just do it and see what happens. Let's just get the ball rolling. There's so much we have to talk about anyway, right? And there's so much that you guys have been asking me to talk about. Let's just go. Let's just do it. Like, why do we have to wait for all these things that are just excuses anyway? Why do we have to wait until we have the perfect script? Why do we have to wait until Amanda has the perfect microphone set up? Like, why do we have to wait for any of that stuff? We don't, right? It's just stuff that we make up in our own minds. We think we have to get all our little ducks lined up in a row, and we think everything needs to be perfect, right? And that's where our confidence comes from, to just leap, right? It's the opposite, right? You have to just try things and figure them out as you go. A lot of the net will appear, the steps will appear, the teachers will appear, right? And a lot of you just haven't even given yourself the chance to try that. A lot of you haven't even given yourself the chance to even see how that could be possible, right? Act quickly, right? A lot of you have ideas, but you don't act on them. And guess what? Talk is cheap, right? Because the ones who go make the money, the ones who have the success, are the ones who actually execute on the ideas that they actually have. A lot of you just talk, and you don't do shit, right? Hi, everybody, right? Welcome to Make Money Your Honey Live Instagram. We're live streaming to tens of thousands of people across all social media platforms right now. We're talking about how to have more confidence in business. And if you are just joining us on YouTube or Twitter, on Facebook, do us a solid and share this out. Retweet it, share the broadcast. Tag somebody who needs to hear this. Tag somebody who maybe is not feeling so confident right now in their own business because of what we've got going on in the world right now. Or tag somebody that you know has been sitting on an idea for a really long time and has not done anything with it. Tag those people too, because they're the ones who need to hear this. Hi. Okay, so act quickly, right? I just gave an example of that. I had the idea this morning to do Make Money Your Honey TV, and instead of coming up with all these excuses, all these preconceived notions, oh, it needs to be perfect, oh, I need a script, oh, I need a teleprompter, oh, I need a better mic, instead of doing all that stuff, I asked myself a better question, and I said, how can we do this? Right? And not only how can we do this, how can we do this the most efficient way possible, right? And that was, I Googled, and then I found Restream, and here we are at noon with our first episode of Make Money Your Honey Live, and I am lit up, and I am on fire about it, okay? And I know you guys are going to be too, right? Number 4 is get clear, okay? A lot of you are lacking clarity, and what I mean by get clear, right? And this is major, what I'm about to say right now. Get clear, not on the business you want to have, how much money you want to make. All that stuff does matter, right? But we'll have other episodes on that. You need to get clear on how you want to live your life, right? I posted on my personal Facebook, I think last week on Friday, I was like, oh my God, I just had a major moment, right? Because we'd been building out systems and team. The reason I started building out systems and team, and I need to do that, was because I got clear on how I wanted to live my life. I wanted to be able to do things like that because I knew I could reach more people and have a bigger impact. I also wanted to be able to travel more. I've got some big picture stuff in my head, and I got clear on that, and I decided on that, and I started moving in that direction, and the steps became known. A lot of you are not clear on how it is you actually want to live your life. And what a lot of people don't realize is that is the first step to figuring out your business, your money, your income, your expenses, your decisions, everything. That is step one. Right? I know things are starting to reopen, but it's definitely not how it was before. A lot of you are still at home, right? And you're going to be at home for a long time. This is the perfect opportunity to have a self-reflective practice to figure out, holy shit, how do I actually want to live my life, right? Then you design your business around that. You design your money around that. You make decisions around that. But that's the key, right? And when you have that kind of clarity and you have that kind of confidence, when you have that kind of clarity, you start getting confidence because you know what it is that you're working toward. Someone posted on my Facebook the other day, they said something along the lines of, I'm just not feeling that excited right now. I'm just like not feeling that great. And they started to realize that a big part of the reason why was because they were not clear on, okay, well, who do I want to be on the other side of this crisis? Who do I want to be on the other side of this whole thing? So that's number 4, get clear on how you want to live, right? It gives you a vision to move forward to. One of the things that I've seen for a lot of you, especially those who lack confidence, you're obsessed with the past, right? You're obsessed with what you had going on in high school. You're obsessed with how things were before this crisis hit. You're obsessed with how things were before 2008. Instead of just accepting change and adapting to change and focusing on your vision of the future and who you want to be and how you want to live, you are too busy living in the past, right? And because you're so busy living in the past, what ends up happening is you don't take any steps toward a better future. If you were clear on what that future was, you would be clear on what those steps are. They'd still be scary and you'd still be uncomfortable, but you'd be fine, right? And then you'd be like, okay, I have something to look forward to. I have something I'm excited about. Let's go. So that's number 4. Number 5 is get help. Okay. A lot of you waste a whole lot, myself included. Okay. I did this for years, right? Where you waste a lot of time and money, like a lot of time and money trying to figure things out on your own. You waste a lot of time because you're afraid of letting go of the money, which we all already said, right? What that's about. That's because you think your security lies in money and you don't realize that this piece of paper, right, or these numbers on a screen that humans invented anyway, right? And that's for those who have ears to receive it. How does something that we made up have so much power and control over you? It doesn't make any sense, right? You have the power. You decide what to do with that. You decide how much income to make, right? So some of you, because you think your security lies in a little bit of money that you have in the bank, right? Which most of you, like, it's not like you're sitting on millions, okay? Like, I'm going to do another episode on like big money versus small money and big thinking versus small thinking. That'll be another episode down the road. But a lot of you think that just because you have this little bit of money in the bank, right, that you're terrified of letting it go, right? You don't realize that your talents are meant to be used. Your gifts are meant to be used. Your money is meant to be used, right, to create more gifts, talents, and money, right? To give people jobs, right? To change people's lives. That is the purpose of money, right? So get help, right? Because if you try and do it on your own, which a lot of you insist on doing because you're afraid of letting money go, because you don't have confidence in yourself and your ideas and your ability to make decisions for yourself, right? And when I already explained why, so those of you who came in later, go check it out on the replay, right? Because you think your security lies in money, basically you end up being cheap with yourself, right? And you're trying to figure out all this stuff for free, but there's a major opportunity cost that comes with that. And I can tell you guys this with absolute confidence, money moves really fast, okay? And those of you who were on my Think and Grow Rich book club, I think it was Think and Grow Rich and also the Science of Getting Rich book club on Facebook, we covered this, okay? That is in those 2 books. Money moves quickly. If you have an idea, you act. And it also talks about the power of mentorship and getting help, right? And I know that getting help thing is hard, okay? It's hard because you're afraid of letting go of the last little bit of money you have, or it's hard because you're like, ooh, okay, my credit card's looking really scary, right? But a lot of you have to start putting yourself in a position where you're thinking long term with that future vision in mind, right? Instead of thinking with the next 2 weeks or 30 days in mind. right? If you only think with the next 2 weeks or 30 days in mind, you're going to exhaust yourself, right? And I know that from experience. So that's number one. If you're like, oh, I can figure all this stuff out for free, you're full of shit, right? Because everything is completely contradictory online anyway, right? So what works for one person isn't going to work for another. That's number one. Number two, I saw lots of business coaches in the last 8 weeks, or so-called financial experts in the last 8 weeks, telling people that they shouldn't sell or that they need to reduce their prices. Those are not people you want to be getting free information from anyway, because they don't know what they're talking about. They just don't, right? So that's part of what happens when you only seek things for free. You get even more confused than you already were, and you waste so much time. And here's the other thing you need to realize, right? Your time, your mind, your energy, all of those things are so much more valuable than money. And the moment that you realize that, you start gaining more confidence and you start making different decisions. And then that leads me to the last point, right? If you want to gain more confidence, get your mind right. Okay, we're going to be doing that on these live videos. Every Monday, we're going to be covering mindset. And I'm also doing a free training on the 27th, I believe, all about the difference between abundance thinking and lack thinking. I'm going to be teaching you how to rewire your brain for abundance, right? Even in the middle of the shit show of a recession we have going on right now, I promise you there are people making money, and I'm going to show you exactly how they're doing it, and I'm going to show you exactly how they think. I'm going to be sharing the exact same strategies I've taught my clients who've doubled their businesses in the last 8 weeks, started booking high-ticket consulting clients in the last 8 weeks, started filling their group programs high in the last 8 weeks. There's still people out here making money, right? And I'm going to show you why that is, because it really just comes down to that level of think. It really comes down to the conversation they're having in their own mind. So if you go to Amanda Abella, that's A-B as in boy, ELLA.com/mindset training. Those of you on Instagram, go check it out. Link in bio if you want to grab that, or DM me. Those of you who are watching on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, you already see it on the bottom where you can go grab it. It's 100% free. We're doing it on May 27th, and I'm really going to break this stuff down for you guys, because what a lot of you are experiencing, it's not a lack of money problem. It's not an I can't afford it problem. It's a level of think problem. Because the reality is there is no lack of money. Zero. None. We live in an abundant universe. There are always ways of making more money. It does not exist, right? So we're going to be covering that on the 27th, how to think and rewire your brain for success, even in the middle of a recession. And on Thursday, this is not going to be part of like the live show that we're doing, but I think Thursday at 2 p.m. I'm coming live with a credit expert that I know. And for those of you who are interested in this, we're going to be talking about how to structure your business and how to organize your business so you can get up to $100,000 in business credit. So that's with Shelton Marchman, and we're going to be doing that on Thursday. I announced it to my clients in Persuade to Profit last week, and they're so psyched about it. We're going to be bringing it to you guys as well. So thanks for joining us on episode 1 of Make Money Your Honey Live. We will be coming here live every day at noon. Mondays, we're going to be covering mindset. Tuesdays, we're going to be covering growing your influence online. Wednesdays, we're going to be covering sales, because it's the only thing that makes money move. And on Thursdays, we're going to start covering scaling. We're going to start talking about how to leverage time and money. We're going to start talking about how to hire people. We're going to start thinking about how to actually build a company instead of just building another job for yourself. We want to avoid the latter. That's what we want to avoid, right? So that will be on Thursdays. And then also this Thursday at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a little extra something for you all with Shelton, where he's going to explain how to structure your company for that 100K in business. So those of you watching, thank you so much for watching live. Those of you on the replay, thank you so much for being here. We will see you here tomorrow, where we're going to be covering, let's see what we're covering tomorrow. Let's tease. We're going to be covering, oh, this is a good one. We're going to be covering how to get media attention for free, right? Without having to shell out thousands of dollars to a PR company. I've been on Forbes, Inc., Huffington Post, hundreds of podcasts, Univision, I've been on TV, and I'm going to teach you. And by the way, I did not pay a PR company for any of those. So I'm going to be covering how to pitch a PR. I'm going to be covering how to pitch PR, how to get PR. It's a long game, right? But it works. I've also had clients get featured in Forbes and national radio shows. So I'm going to be breaking down that for you guys tomorrow at noon. See you there. Bye, guys.